This is Deb with Lifepro, and I want to go over a cool new tool to help you be successful with your vibration plate. This is a generic getting started guide, regardless of what model that you are using with Lifepro. I want to go over some very basic introductory exercises to help get you into a routine. Keep it short and simple if you like, or you can certainly repeat some of these, do some of these in combination. Whatever works for your lifestyle and your overall goals. We're going to go through, there's 5 different sections. We start with a warm-up. We move down to a lower body, an upper body, a core, and a massage program. If you're new to using a vibration plate, the first tip I can give you is you are always in control. If at any time you feel the intensity is too strong, the position of your feet, whether you're standing closer or wider, will determine the amount of movement in oscillating mode. For those of you that are using lateral or pulsation mode or any combination or the programs, the exercises are universal, but if you've got oscillating movement, the positioning of your feet or your hands is going to be very critical in the intensity and the control of it. And I want you working with your feet no more than hip width apart. On the bottom of the poster, we have some tips. Do not lock your knees. And if you haven't already, make sure that you review your quick start guide that has come with your platform for some of the getting started basics before you get into some of these more elaborate exercises and routines. So we're going to start with the warm up, and I like to use my plate barefoot. If you are using footwear, if you are using a mat, whatever your level of comfort, I want your feet no more than hip width apart. And just standing in this fashion is going to move lymph. You're going to increase circulation. You're going to get rid of your day. It's going to help you loosen up in a number of ways. The first exercise is called the starting stance. And I want you to stand with your feet positioned no more than hip width apart. You can position your hands on your hips. Let them relax, whatever's more comfortable. And I would like your knees always slightly bent. The taller you stand, the more vibration you're going to move up to the head. The deeper you bend, the more you will suppress it to the legs. Just make sure that your legs are slightly bent. So we're going to stand like this for a period of, 30 seconds to a minute for each of these exercises. This is simply a warm-up. The next progression is a pelvic tilt, and there's 2 movements to a pelvic tilt. The first motion, as outlined on the poster, I want you to tilt your hips slightly forward, hold for 2 to 3 seconds, knees are remaining bent, and tilting back. And you'll feel a bit of a stretch in the low of that back, especially if you spend a lot of time sitting. Tilt it forward and backward. If you're stable and you feel comfortable, you can certainly just do a continuous motion. The whole goal of this warm-up is to get movement into the core and warm you up for other exercises. Okay? If you have a low back issue, if you do spend a lot of time standing, you get fatigue in this area, the next progression of this exercise is we're going to lean slightly forward. I want a nice straight spine and neck. Knees are still unlocked, and you're going to feel the movement shift to the hips and the low back. You can let your upper body hang. You can put your hands on your hips, whatever feels comfortable. And do this for a period of 30 seconds to a minute at the end of this as a warm-up, or any time that you're having back fatigue. You can use this for 1 to 2 minutes as a standalone, just to offer relief in those areas. Okay? Perfect. In entirety, we're running about 2 minutes total. So if you're doing 30 seconds per exercise, the first set of exercises that we just worked through, we're going to now progress to lower body. Feet are no more than hip width apart. And again, we're starting again with the starting stance. Knees are slightly bent, so you're not feeling the vibration much past the neck and the shoulders. The warm-up has loosened us up, but what we're going to do here is just start squatting slightly lower. So keep the weight on your heels and go lower like you're getting ready to sit in a chair, and just hold still. If you're dealing with arthritis, joint pain, inflammation of any kind, movement isn't always so comfortable, and that sometimes is why exercise is challenging. So on the plate, if you are dealing with stability or pain in the joints, just hold still, and how deep into the squat is going to vary based on you and your range of motion. What I want you to do, if possible, after you've held this maybe 5-10 seconds, is try just going a little bit lower. Get as deep as you can and just hold until you can't hold no more. If your range of motion is lacking, your squat might look like this. Okay? 30 seconds to a minute, you should be more than fatigued if you're just starting out. Okay? The very last variation we're going to do is a lunge. Okay? With a lunge, you want your first foot just off center. You don't need to be terribly wide. You want this leg straight up and down like a table. And your back foot, if you lack balance or you feel unstable, widen up your position with that back leg. So instead of being standing like this, widen up your back leg so you've got a little bit more stability working for you. Okay? And depending on your range of motion, we're going to keep this leg straight, and you could go down and just hold for 2 to 3 seconds and come back up. Go down 2 to 3 seconds and back up. Okay? Again, if you're dealing with poor mobility, joint pain, just hold still. There's no need to do movement. Woo! Okay? Then, of course, we've got to do the other leg. So you would alternate. Put this foot just off center. You don't need to be terribly wide. We're going to keep this leg straight up and down. And the back leg. And come down. Hold. 2, 3. If you prefer, if you're more conditioned, you can do some dynamic movement. Slow, controlled movements if you are going to do this. Okay? Again, push for fatigue, 30 to 60 seconds per side. If after these you're not feeling terribly fatigued and you want a little bit more you could completely repeat. So you could go back now and you could repeat this entire set of exercises if you wanted to do another circuit perhaps, or you're training, or you're just a little bit more athletically conditioned. So the next set of exercises we're going to evolve to is upper body. If you're not exercising upper body right now, you will require range of motion to get down on the ground, but we're not going to make it terribly challenging. Just position your body on your knees so you're just in a square, and learn how it feels if you're not doing upper body exercises. Get used to how the stimulation gets into the neck and the shoulders before you make the exercises more challenging. So there's a progression of a beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced level push-up. If you're doing push-ups now, you need to select something that fits your level of goals, athleticism, depending on what you're conditioning for. If you're just starting upper body exercises for the first time, don't make it the hardest push-up you've ever done. So hands are positioned just under the shoulders. If you're looking down at your hands, you're going to get the most vibration in your head. So push your body back forward just a bit so the shoulders are in line with the hands. And your hands should be shoulder width apart. Just get used to how it feels. This is a great way if you just want to relieve some tension throughout the day. Just get some circulation and some lymph going. And if you are starting exercises in upper body for the first time, this is a starting point. This is a modified push-up. So with this one, you want to make sure that your core is engaged. Keep your tummy tucked in. Keep those shoulders in line with the hands. And if you feel more comfortable and you want to make it more challenging, back your knees up, make your body longer, and bring your body forward. And you'll feel that you increase your body weight. Don't let the back sag. Keep that core engaged. And again, just hold still, especially if you're dealing with joint pain and inflammation. Okay? The next progression, the advanced version, you continue on. You extend the legs fully. Keep that core engaged. Okay? This may be a better starting point for you depending on your level of conditioning. And you can do any combination of these three. The elbows are slightly bent. We're keeping those shoulders above the hands. And just hold until you are fatigued. The next one we're going to move to is some core exercises. So again, with our core group of exercises, beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced style crunch. There's 3 variations here. I'm going to walk you through those. With your core exercises, I suggest sitting in the same fashion that you would stand on your plate. Don't do this lengthways. It is a variation that you can try once you're used to doing crunches, but it's a little bit more challenging as a starting point. So the first place that I want you to start with your core exercises when you're doing things like crunches and planks, you'll find the slower, the lower speeds of those oscillating. They're about balance and stability. So they're going to destabilize your core. They're going to make it more challenging for you to do these exercises. That is the goal. So the first one is a very basic one. So we're going to be nice and straight in the spine and the neck. And I simply want you to come back into a V. If you feel you have to bend your neck, you've gone too low. You come up to a point where you can keep a straight spine. If you need some cushion, you could put a yoga mat. You can put your arms at your side. It makes it easier. This is harder because you're supporting more weight. Arms at the side. Okay. That's a very basic starting point. When you need, come up and you take a break. Okay. I would like to see 3 to 5 reps of each exercise depending on where your level of conditioning is. So again, with this one, nice straight spine from neck to the butt. We're going to come back. Make sure that you're breathing. Arms can be here or here. And we're just going to hold until we need to sit up. The next progression is the same upper body, but we're going to add the legs into the equation. So when you're doing crunches from the belly button up, that's what this motion does. If you want to get that mummy tummy, that thing below the belly button, the legs are the only way you're effectively going to get into those. So we're going to get into a V. So we're going to lift up our legs. I like to put my arms out to balance. Neck and spine are straight. And just hold. Make sure that you're breathing. 2, 3. Okay? Take a breather when you need to. 3 to 5 reps of each exercise. We're going to do one more. I have to do all the exercises, so I won't be doing 3 to 5 of everything today. I'm going to hold this, okay? And you'll feel by lifting the legs, you'll feel the lower abs engage. The next progression is going to be harder. By making your body longer, you're balancing more, gravity's pushing down on more of your body. You're going to extend the legs this time, okay? So we're going to start with the back, knees up, extend the legs out and hold. 2, 3. Try to hold for 5 seconds if possible. If you want it more challenging, put the arms up here. Make sure that you're breathing. Take a breather when you need to. Again, 3 to 5 reps of each exercise. Let's do that one again. We're going to come back, lift the legs, extend. Just like a V. Straight neck to bum. Hold and come down. If you want more core activity, you want to add a repetition of any or a variation of those, push yourself to fatigue with that. And any of these exercises are probably 3 to 4 times a week. The final set of exercises is a massage series. This can be added on to any of your existing routines. You can do this as a warm-up. Perhaps you're going before you go for an adjustment or to the physio. If range of motion allows, I'm going to work through 3 variations where you can use this to improve skin tone, tension, and as I said, excellent as a warm-up and a recovery tool. For massage, because you're not standing, you're not doing weight-bearing exercises, you should be able to tolerate a higher or a faster speed for this series. So the first one we're going to start with is a seated massage. And just a trick for your seated massage, wherever the controls are on your machine, have them so you can see them between your legs versus behind your bum, because you'll sit on the buttons and you'll speed it up and slow it down. So you know how as a woman, when you're standing, your thighs are one size, and when you sit down, they're a completely different size. You want to get as much real estate on this machine as you can. If your feet are up like this, all this skin surface isn't in contact. So if you're dealing with cellulite, skin tone, varicose veins, you want to get as much skin in position as possible. Now, my spine is on the machine, so I am feeling a slight movement in the hips, but you feel very little in the head. If you're sensitive, you're dealing with tinnitus or issues, you can lean forward just slightly and you'll dissipate most of the head vibration. I would do this position for 2 to 3 minutes. You know, I don't massage everywhere all the time, but this is massaging the glutes, the underside of the hamstrings, the hips, and the spine are just getting some simple relaxation. 2 to 3 minutes is all you need. Okay, the next progression is the tops of the thighs. Okay, so to get the tops of the thighs, we're gonna position from here, about just above the kneecap, depending on how long your thighs are. I would get down on your knees. Kneecaps are off the machine, and we're just gonna lift the legs to get a little more body weight into it. 2 to 3 minutes on this one max. Maybe a minute is all that you need. You can move around your legs a little bit. If you're doing these exercises for the first time, you may find your skin is itchy or tingly or pins and needly. It's very common for the first couple weeks until the circulation and the lymph get moving a little bit more efficiently. The very last one, and I like to do this one last because it's the laziest one, is the calves. So depending on the length of your calves, you want to get this meaty part on. You want to get the heel of the foot off the machine. This is great if you deal with neuropathy, atrophy, poor circulation, varicose veins, all of that stuff. But it's also a great way, again, to improve skin tone, to stretch. You can turn it into a stretch, reach for the toes. You can lay down, get the lymph moving. Range of motion allows. This is a great add-on before the beginning of your day or at the end of a routine as recovery as well. And again, 2 to 3 minutes max is really all you need for any of the massage settings. Turn that off. Wonderful. Okay.